This tutorial is to help you with writing linear equations. So linear means straight line. So a linear equation will fit in the format y equals mx plus b. This is called slope-intercept form. And before we can write an equation, the two things we need to know are the m, which is the slope, and the b, which is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So here's my y-axis, and the graph is crossing right here at 3. It's a positive 3, so instead of b, I'm going to put plus 3. Okay, and then now I need to figure out my slope. So to figure out the slope, I'm going to count the rise over the run between 2 points. I can pick any 2 points I want to, but the problem is if you do not pick 2 that are close together, like you pick this bottom one and the middle one, you will have to reduce. So save yourself an extra step and just pick 2 that are close together. Okay, so I'm going to count the rise. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to count the rise, which was 2, over the run, which I went to the right once, and 2 over 1 is just 2. So my slope, or my m, is 2. And before I even wrote the equation, I could look at this graph. It's going up, so I knew it was going to have a positive slope. Okay. On number 2, it's linear, so I know it's going to fit in the format y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to fill out my b first. So b is the y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. It's crossing at -2. So instead of plus b, I'm going to put minus 2. Okay, so now I need to count my slope. And we know that slope is rise over run. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. This graph is going up, so this is a positive slope. So instead of m, I'm going to plug in 3 over 4. So my final equation is y equals 3/4 x minus 2. Okay. Number 3, it's linear, so I know it's going to fit in y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. I need to find the m, and I need to find the b. B is y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. It crosses at 0. So it doesn't matter if you're adding or subtracting 0, it's not going to change it. So I'm going to just add 0. That's what I typically do. So now I need to find my slope. Slope is rise over run on a graph. Pick 2 points to count between. I'll pick these 2. I'm looking at this graph. I know it's negative because it's going down, so I don't even have to worry about the direction I'm going because I know the overall slope is going to be negative. So from this point, I went up 3 and over 1. -3 over 1 is just -3. So my only issue with this is when we have plus 0 as a y-intercept, we will not write it because it doesn't change the problem. Y equals -3x is the same as y equals -3x plus 0, so we typically just leave it off. Okay. Linear, I know I'm writing it in slope-intercept form. So I need to find the m and the b, the slope and the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is crossing the y-axis down here at -2, so it's going to be a -2. And the slope, I'm going to count between the points. So I know it's a negative slope. So I went up 2 and over 3. So my slope is a negative 2/3 x minus 2. Okay, and then the last two are a little bit different. So this is linear, but when I have a vertical line, it does not fit into the format y equals mx plus b. A vertical line has an undefined slope. So anytime you have a straight vertical line, it is going to be x equals, and then look where it's crossing your x-axis. It's crossing at 3, so in this case, x is 3. So vertical line, undefined slope, it's gonna look like x equals wherever it's crossing the x-axis. So here it's 3, so that's where I got the 3 from. And then lastly, now I have a straight horizontal line. There's no angle to it. There's not a numerical slope to it. So it is going to be y equals, this actually has a 0 slope, which I guess technically is a numerical number, but no slant to the slope. So this is a 0 slope. When I have a 0 slope and it's crossing at 5, so let me show you what I did there. So the slope was 0. I know that because horizontal lines have a 0 slope. So I plugged in 0 for m. And then it was crossing the y-axis at 5. So I plugged in 5 for b. But when we have 0 x's, we don't even need to put it in the problem. So it would just be y equals 5.